Right now, emergency services are on high alert as wet weather conditions persist. Gauteng has been experiencing rainfall for a number of days now. A yellow level 4 warning was issued for the province. Though it's the least severe, possible disruptions and damage are expected. To look into the current situation, Robert Mulaudzi from the Johannesburg Emergency Services joins me now live to tell us more. Mr. Mulaudzi, thank you for your time here on All Angles. Just explain to us, what is a yellow warning level 4? What does this mean for us as residents of Gauteng?
Yeah, the warning we received from the South African Weather Service means that we might still have a persistent rainfall, which might cause flash floods, especially in our low-lying areas. So hence we are out there conscientizing our residents out there to say those who are driving, they still need to be cautious. Motorists need to still extend the safe following distance and also try and avoid crossing areas which might be flooded. Some of those areas our motorists are already familiar with, and also our residents in our low-lying areas, they know that on a day-to-day basis they normally cross these man-made bridges, of which during this time where we have wet weather conditions, those bridges might be dangerous. So our message to our residents is to try and avoid those areas, and also make sure that young kids stay away from river streams, so that we can be able to, prevent incidents where, people might be trapped and also be swept away by these severe thunderstorms which we continue to have throughout the city.
Now, has emergency services responded to anything pertaining to the wet weather that is of a danger? For instance, maybe a motorist trapped somewhere under a low-lying bridge, or flooding of homes? Yes,
yesterday morning at around 10-11, there we had an incident in the northern suburbs of Johannesburg, I think around along Gauteng, a river stream, where we rescued a 40-year-old lady. She did survive the incident unharmed. She was actually trapped right in the middle of a river stream. So, of which we continue to urge all our residents out there to stay away from these situations like these river streams, because we know that we normally have a number of incidents where it's either motorists are trying to take a chance to cross, flooded roads, or it's either our residents trying to cross in these flooded river streams. Our message is to say, let's stay away from these areas. Let's use designated pedestrian crossing bridges to cross to the other side of the area, so that we can be able to prevent incidents which might occur. From our side, as a City of Johannesburg Emergency Management Services, we've got all our 30 fire stations throughout the city fully operational. We also have a specialized team, which is a swift water rescue unit, which is a specialized team which responds to water-related emergencies. That is the team which rescued the 40-year-old lady yesterday morning. We normally work together with our SAPS Water Wing and also Gauteng Emergency Services during these wet weather conditions like we have now. So we're hoping that our residents will work with us so that we can be able to prevent any further incidents which might occur throughout the city.
All right. And in terms of areas such as your Alexandra, Diepsloot, how long, for instance, during your communication with weather services, how much longer will the wet weather persist, and are you concerned about those types of areas?
Yeah, we have already have our disaster management monitoring team, because most of our officials are regionally based. Throughout the city, we've got about 7 regions, of which most of those regions, they are in our low-lying areas. They consist of mostly informal settlements, which are normally vulnerable to flooding when we have wet weather conditions like the ones we have. So far, we have monitored Gauteng and Galfontein, and also Klip Valley, which is the river stream which is crossing around Soweto and surrounding areas. Yeah, the water levels are rising. Hence, we have had our public education officials making sure that those residents are aware that they need to monitor the water levels and move to the higher ground when there's a need to do so. We've got a community-based disaster management initiatives which we are conducting in these areas where we're using things like whistles to alert other neighbors to move to the higher ground when there's a need for us to do so. And the other part is that we already have our automatic rainfall systems in these areas which assist us to disseminate information for evacuation purposes, as and when there's a need for us to do so, over and above the information we get from the South African Weather Service. So far, I will say we're happy about the situation. So we will work with our residents to make sure that we prevent any further incidents. Of course, we encourage our residents to check our social media platforms, listen to the radio, watch television for any further updates which might occur throughout the city.
All right, Robert Mulaudzi, thank you very much for your time. He's the spokesperson of the EMS services here in the city of Johannesburg.